All right, so first of all, what exactly is open source, right? Open source is a term for open source software. Now, whenever I hear open source, I think of code that is available to everyone, right? I can probably go to a particular website and I can get code that has been written by different people, and I can probably use the code for myself and edit the code and make it personalized or something. You understand? So let me just explain to you guys or read to you guys what the official definition for open source is. So open source software, right, is software that's freely available to use and modify. It is typically shared via a public repository hosting service like GitHub. Um, so for open source software, right, you could go to GitHub as specified here, and then you can go through a repository that has some software. You can edit, you can view the code, you can edit the code, you can even possibly distribute the code and commercialize the code, depending on the kind of license adopted by the maintainers of that code. Now, what exactly is, I mentioned the word license current just now. What exactly does that mean? So, open source licenses are what helps people identify open source software. Right, so based on the license that is adopted by the maintainers of that software, you have different ways in which you can use that code. So, for instance, the MIT license, right, allows you to view, allows you to edit, allows you to distribute or commercialize the code in any way you see fit. But the GNU library license allows you to view the code, it allows you to distribute the code, but then it doesn't allow you to edit the code without the maintainer's consent. The Mozilla and the Apache license are usually they will usually work the same as MIT. So these are just these two differences between these licenses, and then how it's important in the open source space. Now, Hacktoberfest. I've been hearing Hacktoberfest a lot throughout the month of October, right? Because um, it's October, and basically every year, it is hosted by DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean is a platform, is a software as a service platform where you can host your code. They allow you to put your code on a server, basically. So what these guys do is that they make an annual event that encourages people to contribute to open source throughout October. Right, so there are a couple of open source softwares that people are dependent on. DigitalOcean themselves are dependent on some dependent on some open source software, right? But then these open source softwares, they usually do not have the usually do not have the amount of people or the funds to keep the project ongoing. So what DigitalOcean did was that they made an event that runs globally every year to give back to those projects, those impactful projects that thousands of other softwares out there are dependent on. So, and as well, you might be a beginner in development, or you might be a senior developer as well. Open source and Oktoberfest is a way for you to sharpen your skills because you can always learn something new in open source. As well, they're also all about celebrating things open source and the people that make open source so special. Right. So when you when you participate in Oktoberfest, you are open or you have the opportunity to win some prizes like shirts, you can win swags like stickers and so on from different from Dev and I think JetBrain as well. So this is this is what people won in 2020, the 2020 version of Hacktoberfest is running for 9 years now. So this is the ninth edition of Hacktoberfest. So this is how you qualify to win a prize from Hacktoberfest. You have to make 4 pull requests on GitHub. Right. So when you go to GitHub, you you find an Oktoberfest repository that you can contribute to. You make the contributions, then you make a pull request, and then once it's merged, you once you've gotten 4 of those pull requests merged, and you are open to win a prize like this. Now I realized I've been seeing a lot of jargons like pull request, um repositories, GitHub, so on and so forth. But I assure you that at the end of this video or at the end of this presentation, we will talk more about those things. I will like take you guys through a way or a detailed approach to contributing to open source, and you guys will be able to understand what I'll be talking about ever since. So please just hang on till the end of the talk. All right, so these are some examples of open source software. We have Linux. I'm pretty sure we know Linux. Linux is an operating system like Windows or Mac OS. So Linux is open source. And if you ask me, I would say open source softwares are usually more robust and more efficient than proprietary software. So proprietary software, like I don't want to mention some of them, but proprietary software are like softwares that are owned by a company, and then the code isn't visible to the public. You cannot edit the code. You cannot contribute whatsoever to the code unless you are part of that company, and you cannot distribute the code. But then open source software, you have the ability to edit the code. You have the ability to see the code. You can also contribute to the code. Now imagine developers from different parts of the world with different backgrounds contributing to one software. Imagine how resilient, imagine how robust, imagine how efficient that code would be like. Right. So that is why I feel like open source software are way more, in my own opinion, right, they have more to offer than proprietary software because they have the whole world basically contributing to the code and making it better. Firefox is as well an open source library, an open source software. Sorry, we use it every day in school. VSO Media is what we use to watch movies and stuff. And then Apache web server is where you can host your backend languages and backend projects. And OpenCV is short for Open Computer Vision, where you are where you can access all the facial recognition features that you can find in the software. So, for instance, if you want to make an application that deals with facial recognition, you use the OpenCV library to do that. So, these are just some examples of open source softwares and what they do. Now, benefits of contributing to open source. I mean, I'm not getting paid. Why should I contribute to open source? Right. But fine, you might not be getting paid, but then there are some benefits that will help you in the long run. Like if you contribute to open source, you have the opportunity to build your confidence as a developer. So for most new beginners in programming, which I'm sure we have quite a number of here at GDS and MDX, if you contribute to open source, right, you make pull requests. Like let me explain what pull request is. So you find a software that you want to contribute to, you go to the repository online, you you fork the repo. That means you're getting the repo and then you put it in your own account. FORK, by the way. You put it in your own account and you put in your code that you want to change inside that repository, and then you make a pull request. That means you submit what you did in your own account, submit it back to the maintainers, right? So when you do that, they see the code you've changed. The maintainers who are probably seasoned developers, full stack developers or senior developers, right? They have um they have they have more experience in this field, right? So um you have like every single time you make a pull request, they see the code you've written, and then they can always tell you why why certain things won't work, or why or how you should write better code, or how you can write good code that will help them in the long run, right? So the more pull requests you make, the more you will get insight from these senior developers who will be willing to help you to make your code up to standard. So imagine making a lot of pull requests, and then for your first pull request, you're probably really bad at it. And then you get some kind of feedback from a mentor or from a developer in the open source community. You do that, you get better, and then you submit it, and then you keep on doing that over and over again. Before you know, you'll be really good at writing code, and your confidence boost will be you will get a confidence boost basically. So you'll be really good at developing, and you will feel it because you've been mentored over and over again. Now, apart from that, there's this recurring problem that we've had as students, right? Imagine being a student, and then after your school, you go and meet you go for a job, right? And then they tell you that you need experience, right? I mean, I was in school, how am I supposed to get experience? But then experience isn't all about working in a place. It's about what you've gathered with working as a programmer, as a developer, right? So um you've been contributing to open source software for a very long time, right? And then um you're whenever you've been able to write good code and contribute to a repository, you've been able to get feedback and review from different people. You've been able to do things that you said you can do because you actually had experience doing it, right? So the more open source software you build, right, the more you have examples of what you can do on the cloud or on the online space that you can easily show a recruiter whenever you're looking for a job. So with open source, you can grow your open source profile. You can show your recruiter what you've done online, and then once they've seen that, you can now stand out during your interviews. Now imagine contributing to Windows or contributing to Linux, right? That would really give your resume a boost than every other person because you've actually contributed to something that um makes an impact. Also, you can also build a professional network. If you contribute to a project that you're passionate about, you meet like mind, right? And then um, you will be able to connect with them and build a network. And then with that, you can get access to information that will probably not be available to you because you didn't have them in your network. Or imagine meeting someone who was a maintainer of a really huge project like VS Code, for instance. I don't know if you guys know what VS Code is. Um, or something like um, um, Microsoft. You know, imagine meeting people like that who have contributed to those softwares and then adding them to your network. They will definitely have um opportunities that wouldn't just be lying around, and then you can have access to those opportunities because you have connected with them, right? And then they know what you can do because of what you've done on open source. So these are just basically the little reasons I've given to you why you should contribute to open source, because in the long run it will help you and it's helping other people as well. So if you want to start contributing to open source currently, these are what you can do to start. Let's say let's use Middlesex University website for instance, as an example. If it was actually open source, I don't think it's open source, but let's say you want to contribute to Middlesex University device website. First of all, you ask yourself, what tech stack did they write? Was this software written in? Okay, let's say it was written in React or in Vue, right? Let's just say React and JavaScript. What are some things that could be improved when using the software? I don't like how the search bar is. I don't like how it looks, or I don't like how slow the search is. I don't like why they use these colors here, or there's a typo here somewhere. Are there any bugs or visible errors that you have the technical proficiency to address? Okay. Um, I know React. This button isn't doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to take me to this page, but it's not doing that. Right. So you've addressed that. You've seen that. Right. You can now ask yourself one last question. Will you be willing to contribute to this software on an ongoing basis? I mean, even if you did it only once, right? You've done your bit, right? So it's still good. You're still welcome to do that. Then you go to Middlesex University Dubai's repository on GitHub. You fork the repo, FORK. You fork the repo, and then you contribute. You fix those things you see you feel that needs work, right? You make an issue, then the contributors or the maintainers of the repo assign the issue to you, you fix the issue, and then you make a pull request, and then it's merged. And then you go back to the website, you see that all those things that were bugging you before are now fixed. That is how open source works. Now, if you're already inspired or you want to start working on open source, these are some links that you can probably start with. I'm gonna put it in the chat later on. Let me just put it now. I'll put it later on, don't worry. This particular one is for non-programmers, right? So if let's say you have an idea for an app, you can just come to this particular website, you read the README on how to contribute, and you can put in your ideas for an application there. You just write it down, right? And then you can see it's just a way to contribute to open source. You write down the app idea in the README, and then people that are looking for ideas to build can go to that list and search through it and just start building it. So now you there's a recurring problem in Hacktoberfest every year is that people people just want the shirts, and I won't blame them. The shirt is really nice, looks really nice. Um And then with that, they just make spammy um pull requests. They make spammy contributions, and that is not right. People just go to repository and change the variable name or just write in a comment. Those are spammy contributions. And then if you're making up a lot of spammy contributions, it's going to affect the maintainer. It's going to be a problem for the maintainers. So how can you contribute meaningfully to open source software? You can fix the bug, right? You see let's use Middlesex website, for instance. You see that there is a link that isn't working. You can go to the repository and fix that for them, right? So bugs are like small errors in code that may cause a blocker or make the software weaker, make software quality weaker. And then if you do this on an ongoing basis, right, it improves your ability to like strengthen a code base by solving errors. So no matter if you're doing this for a very long period of time, right, and then you keep on seeing, you notice errors that are happening on the software, and then you're able to solve those errors. Now imagine you trying to build your own code base. Yours is basically going to be bug free. I mean, not I don't think I've seen any software that is bug free, but um, but then when you are able to find a couple of bugs on a website and you're able to solve them, solving your own issues will be very easy, right? So that's basically what it means. Also, you can also contribute to open source by proposing a feature. So, for instance, let's say Middlesex website again. Let's just use that example. There is you want them to probably add um, a a button that gives you money, right? Free money from Middlesex website. You you go to the Middlesex repository on GitHub, you create an issue, right? And then you tell them button to give me money. So you create that issue, right? And then talk with the maintainers of the repository, and then you talk to them this is a feature that I would really like to see, and then they'll ask you, they'll talk to you, they will explain to you whether this particular feature is in line with long-term goals and stuff like that before you it's better you do that before you start coding, because imagine doing all that work and then the code doesn't end up getting merged into the website. Then you won't be able to, I mean, all your hard work will just went down the drain like that. So it's usually a good idea to create an issue discuss your new feature that you want to maintain, you want to add to the website before you start coding. And now last but not least, you can also write some documentation. Let me see, we could, for instance, let's say, um, I don't know, Microsoft Teams, for instance, there is a documentation on how to use Microsoft Teams. For instance, how to create new meetings, how to um, create, how to create a new team, a new Teams group. There could be documentations like that on the internet, right? But then let's say you know another language, right? Let's say you know Japanese, and then the initial documentation was written in only English, right? You want to be able to bridge the gap between native English speakers and other language speakers, right? So you should also try and contribute to open source in that manner. You can get if you're able to understand if you're able to translate the words from English to your own language, you should definitely consider contributing, because it will help people in the long run. As well as, let's say, Microsoft Teams documentation, they don't tell you how to present your screen, right? You can go to Microsoft Teams documentation, right? Add it there, and then tell people how to present your screen. Or if they don't tell you how to present, they don't even put any information on how to present your screen with your computer's audio. You can do that by adding more information to the documentation. And usually the documentation is usually on GitHub, hosted there online, so you can usually do that easily with GitHub. All right. Um so to wrap up, basically, and we still have some other stuff to do. But to wrap up this presentation, successfully contributing to open source is a rewarding experience that enables you show your talent, collaborate, learn, and give back to the developer community. So I'm speaking from experience here, trying to find your place in open source community. I mean, I haven't found my place yet, though, but I'm in the process. It can be very difficult, but then a good way to start is to look for a project that you're passionate about, right? Something that speaks to your passion. If you like writing, you could probably contribute to, um, I don't know, Wattpad. Or if you like reading, you can contribute to Wattpad software, because that's what you like. If you like drawing, you can contribute to Photoshop software. Stuff like that. Being able to find those projects that you're passionate about and contributing to those projects in a meaningful way is a good way to start is a good way to find is a good way to start in finding your place in the open source community. But then we can let's just start one by one, like little by little. You look for a project that you think might need help. You go to the GitHub repository you go to the GitHub repository, make a pull request, and contribute to open source. That's all it takes. All right, so before I end the presentation, I just want to leave you guys with this quote. Open source is the new source. And I'm pretty sure you guys agree with me now, right? If you agree with me, just type yes in the section, in the chat section. Yes, YES. I'm waiting. Yes. So before I leave you, I told you guys I was going to talk about Git, right? And explain those jargons I was talking about earlier on. So this is the cheat sheet, well, which explains um, the different Git, different Git commands and controls. This is basically how you use Git to push your code to GitHub and whatnot. And as well, I have a video on YouTube that you can watch, right, to help you in contributing to open source. Mm, So yeah, apart from that, I'm also going to show you how to contribute to open source with my own account. Yeah, I'm not watching this. So you can check it out later. So this is GitHub, and let me show you what those jargons are saying. So this is a repository on GitHub code then under this person's account. Right. So basically, my friend created this website, and it's an Oktoberfest website. And it's currently looking for um, contributors. Right. So you click on the issues. Right. If you see that, let's say you're coming from the person's website and you see some issues that the person has, you come to GitHub, you search for the repository name, you go to new issue. Now you can either report a bug, or you can create a report to help them improve their website, or you can suggest an idea for the project. This is what I was talking about. All right, so apart from that, you after you create the issue, you can go to the issue and talk more about it. So this was me and him talking about what we need to solve in this particular issue. And then he described the issue, and then I was able to we had a call afterwards to understand the problem. I'm not done with the code. So when I'm done, I have to fork this. When I fork this, I make a pull request, and then the person comes to the pull request section and then sees my pull request and merges my code, so it will be available here. Um, it will be available here as well. This is the person's code on GitHub. This is everything that is currently running the website. All right, so for Oktoberfest, for you to be able to contribute to Oktoberfest, all you do is let me go back. All right, so you click on start. You go to hacktoberfest.com. I'll leave this link in the other links in the chat section. You go to hacktoberfest.com, click on start hacking, and it's probably going to take a while. It's going to load. After it's loaded, you see your profile picture on here. This is my GitHub profile picture, right? So currently do not have any pull request merged yet because busy. But then this basically shows you your pull request, what you've done. This is one I did a couple of days ago, right? So yeah, once you've been able to complete 4 pull requests, that is a participating Oktoberfest repository, you will then be eligible for the shirt on from Oktoberfest, right? So that's basically it. Give me a second to remove this. Okay, if you have any questions, please do ensure to put them down on the chat. I should be looking at the chat right now. As you see, uh, awesome. If you have any questions, please make sure to put them in the chat, or you can unmute your mic to talk more. To just say what you have. Any questions at all would be really appreciated. Or if you can come up with a question now, you can always email us at gdscmdx@gmail.com, and as well, or you can find me on Twitter with this handle at Harith Onigemo. Okay, if there are no questions, I would um call it a day. Thank you very much, guys, for listening and for tuning in. Apologies for the issues of the platform stuff. It's our first session for the year, so this was bound to happen. But going forward, we will be we will be making it more streamlined and better for everyone. Um, thank you guys for joining. If you have any questions at all, remember the email is there, or you can find me on Twitter. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.